Okay, so there's quite a few of you who are not, who I can't see. You don't have your video on. That's of course your choice. It would be great if you could tip your camera so I could see part of your legs, but that's not totally necessary. And if you choose to be incognito, that's fine too. A few disclaimers that we have to start with. Number one, Zoom was set up for talking heads, not dancing feet. And so music tends to be pretty funky. We figured out how to make you hear the music, but we can't change the fact that I'm going to be slightly off. Like my experience when I do Zoom classes is the teacher is always half a beat ahead of how I hear the music. So we'll play with that and see. It may be that when I actually turn on the music, I will not dance because I could, you know, the whole thing is about rhythm. And if I throw your rhythm off because you're hearing it differently than I am, it sort of defeats the purpose. So, we'll see how that goes. But don't be surprised if you can't keep up with my rhythm because it's making your nervous system go wacky. Okay. The other disclaimer, that's a really big one. I do this when I'm teaching in person, when I can see all of you and I can see your feet and I can see your knees and I can see what's happening. It's really crucial that you don't do anything that hurts or anything that's inappropriate for your body. And on Zoom, where most of the time I'm seeing beautiful ceilings, you know, or couches, or like, because of where your cameras are, I can't even see your whole body. So it's really, really crucial that you take care of yourselves, because I can't even moderate it because I can't even see it, moderate it because I can't see it. So I'm going to teach a variety of levels here. Do what makes sense to you and take breaks anytime you want. This is extremely aerobic. I have no idea what shoes you're wearing, what floor you're on. As long as you're not in platform shoes or spike heels, I think you'll be okay. I don't know what your backgrounds are in terms of movement or dance or what your history is. So just take what you want from this and throw out what you don't want. It's not your entrance to heaven, so no problem if it doesn't fit you. If you don't like it, you can leave anytime, go to the bathroom whenever you need to. You're home. So, introduction to, I'm going to put myself on speaker view. So, introduction to the way I teach, which has radically changed once I met Thomas Maupin. I highly recommend that you Google Thomas, M-A-U-P-I-N, Maupin. He is now 81 and a half, moving on towards 82. He lives in central Tennessee. He's one of the country's most amazing flatfooters. He's been given a National Heritage Award. He's won every state award in Tennessee since he was young. And he picked me out when he met me in LA at a festival where they were headlining, because I dance in a way that's similar to him. And it took me, I've been going out to Tennessee now for, this would have been the 9th summer. Of course, it didn't happen this summer. But I'm finally seeing why he sees my dancing similar to his. And it's that we dance the tune. I'm not going to teach you a lot of steps. I'm going to teach you how to listen to the music, because you are not a dancer in this form. You are an instrument. And it's really, really, really crucial that you dance as an instrument, so that you're the drum set. You're making rhythm. You're keeping the rhythm with your feet. And if you're dancing steps that you've been taught, and you're focusing on steps, you might get off rhythm. And if you get off rhythm in a jam or with other musicians, you will roast in hell. And they will never tell you that, because old-time musicians are extraordinarily polite, and they will never tell you that you're driving them crazy. And I actually know this because I've had musicians come up to me and say, that person over there, can you get her to stop dancing, please? So what I'm interested in is teaching you how to hold rhythm with your feet and improvise. The last thing I want is for you to rehearse steps. So, and as I say, I'm honoring Thomas Maupin in this way, because he's always saying, I can't teach you my steps. The tune tells me what to do. The tune tells me, my feet, what to do. And so I'm going to teach you how to improvise and rock out to old-time music. How's that? So let's start with, I'm going to tip this so you can see my feet. We're going to start with the warm-up. So go ahead and stand up. And I'm on my board. Boy, once I stand back, I can't see a thing. And oh, here's my distance glasses. Oh yeah, that's better. So just start with your feet in parallel and just easy bend your knees. Just letting your ankles and your knees and your hip sockets, all the joints of your legs be pliable, free and easy. And then if you can, stand on one leg and just shake, stand on the other and shake, 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 shake it out, loosen. The whole trick to this stuff is having very loose limbs, because you can't build up speed when there's tension. So just shaking, step, shake, step, shake, step. And I've got my taps on, hopefully you can hear that. Normally I dance in just leather soles. And then with your feet wide apart, just shifting through your hips. Let's see if I move this back, you can see maybe a little more. So you're just shifting through your hip sockets, your pelvis. And if it feels good to you, you can go around the corners. Whatever loosens up your hips. Good. And then you can leave your feet there and let's just swing. Yeah, there we go. Just get it. Twisting is actually one of the best things you can do for your spine to warm up the discs. Letting your arms hang like heavy ropes, because in this flat footing style, your arms just hang loosely. There's no form for the upper body. And while we're doing this, I can just tell you that if you've heard of clogging, but you've never heard of flat footing or buck dancing, flat footing and buck dancing are earlier forms, more traditional forms. Flat footing, clogging came about after World War II. And if you want to know about it, where is my Phil Jameson book? Keep Swinging. Anyway, I'm not seeing it quickly. Phil Jameson, who's a phenomenal clogger, flat footer, and musician, wrote a book. Took him 10 years to write a book on the history of Southern Appalachian dance forms. And he talks all about how clogging came about, what came before it. He talks a lot about the history of square dancing in America. It's a phenomenal book, well worth getting. And I know I have it on the shelf, and I'll come up with it in a moment. Okay, just shake everything, maybe shoulders up and down, a little more quicker bounces, bum, 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 bum in your knees. It's gonna be a dance with the camera going up and down. Just easy bouncing, good. Okay, let's just start stamping. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your whole foot is coming down flat. You can bring your feet together. Just plain stamping. And plain stamping, we can go 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, hold the fourth count. 1, 2, 3, hold 4. Hold 4. And in that fourth count, you can do a heel. So how is that going? A little feedback. How can you hear me? Are you getting it? Is my sound too delayed for what you're hearing?
On my end, it's just fine, Ruth. I think
Okay,
it's great.
Great. And everybody who I can't see, it sure would be nice to see you all, but that's okay if you don't want to be on video. But we got like lots of people that I just see your names. So it's very intriguing to me. Okay, so congratulations, you are now flat-footing. You put your flat foot down and you kept a rhythm. That's all that counts. So what I'd like to do is actually play some music and have you do just that, just stamping. And then, oh, the other thing I want to ask is, can you see, when I tip the camera, can you see my feet clearly enough? Okay, good. So you can do just stamping. You can do stamping, to the side. You can do a heel. Play with just that. You've got 2 variations, and I'm just going to play some music and see how that goes. So before I play it, I have to tell you I thought about what to play, and I chose that everything I'm going to play for you is from Tom Adler's CD called Sweet Nell. It's all original tunes. Everybody on this is from New Mexico, and seeing as it's the Santa Fe TradFest and Tom Adler's from Santa Fe, I thought it only fair to play his music. So last night I went on and I was listening, like, okay, what 2 tunes am I going to play? I think I have about 8 written down because I love this CD so much. And every tune is like, oh yeah, they need to hear this. And oh yeah, they need to hear that tune too. So we'll see. I just go get the CD because it's really worth it. And I can't play you everything on it today. So we're gonna start with one, this is Tom Adler himself on fretless banjo, and he like recorded over himself. Oh, I have to Would help if I press play. Is that good? Okay, go to it, guys. Okay, I forgot. I have to say one more thing. Yes, okay, I just remembered what I was going to say. I do not slow musicians down for a class. If I have live musicians, I insist that they play up to tempo, because in the real world, if you're at a festival and you want to dance off to the side, a jam, you can't ask a jam to slow down for you so you can practice your steps, right? You're going to have to deal with whatever speed they're playing. So right away, it's good to practice. You can always do something half time, or you can do it up to the tempo that you're hearing. But it's really important that you get used to playing and you get used to dancing to the speed that old time musicians play. Okay, here we go. Needless to say, that was not Tom Adler on banjo. That was Sweet Nell. The story on the name Sweet Nell is that in band practice, they would go through a whole lot of, you know, Nell Newman chips and things. And so they wrote a tune called Sweet Nell, and they actually sent it to her, and she sent back some very nice acknowledgement letter, but they didn't get a case of free chips, which was what they were hoping for. How did that work with the sound and with me dancing? Is it, I didn't throw you off? Good, great, okay, yay. And how did everybody do with just the stamping? You still with me? All these people, I can't see who they are. Okay. So let's do a few more things. Another very basic step that I do is a step slide. Step, slide, step, slide. Flat slide, flat slide, flat. Now, depending on the floor that you're on, you may not be on a wood surface that allows for a sliding. So this may or may not work for you. Down slide, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. The downbeat is always emphasized in old time music. So you can, it's hard to do slow, up to tempo. And I rarely do that step ongoing like that. I'll mix it and match it with 1, 2, 3, slide. 1, 2, 3, slide. 2, 3, slide. Slide. Or you can go 1, 2, you can go slide, slide, 1, 2, 3, hold 4, slide, slide, 1, 2, 3, heel, slide, slide, 1, 2, 3, hold 4. Again, it's up to you how you want to mix and match. So you've got basic stamping, you've got heel, which you can put in with basic stamping or just by itself, and you've got step slides. In the basic 1, 2, 3, if you've already done a fair amount of dancing, this becomes, what's it called? Heel rock, no, step heel rock. So you step, whatever it's called, who cares? Flat, tiptoe, flat, flat, tiptoe, flat, flat, tiptoe, flat, flat, tiptoe, flat. The rhythm is exactly the same, it's just the sound is a little different. As opposed to so often what I'll do is flat, tiptoe, flat, slide, flat, tiptoe, flat, slide. But if it's easier for you to just do flat, 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 slide, it's the same rhythm. Step, rock, step, that's what it's called. Step, rock, step, step, rock, step. Let's just, I think let's just go for another tune and just play with those steps, making up whatever combinations you want. Okay. What did I wanted to do? Let's do Lay Me Train Ride. This is Tom on banjo. Keep going. Keep going. Well, don't keep going. Okay, keep going to this one. Hold on. Okay, hold on. That was Sweet and Elegant. So how is that for everybody? Is it working to just play on your own? I'm mixing and matching. You can follow me, but I'm, okay, my phone is just being, with political texts, I'm turning off the sound. So another thing we can do, or another thing that, why am I bending down? I could just lift my camera so I don't have to stoop. Another thing that I particularly challenge myself for is to create the phrasing so that I'm dancing not just the beat. I mean, it's fine to just keep the beat. If that's all you do, that counts, that's fantastic. If you want more of a challenge, make the phrasing. How many here are play the music? And of course, everybody who I can't see on camera, I don't know if you all play the music or not. But if you do play the music, you know that old time music is structured with AA, so an A part, which repeats, and then a B part of the tune, which repeats. And so I try to come up with distinct A and B sounds and get the phrasing of a full A part. So an example of that would be, I gotta keep switching to my iTunes. Let's try this one. Oh, that's what we're using. Hold on. I want to play Pagosa Hornpipe. So Pagosa, this is a Rob Pine tune. So in Pagosa Hornpipe, which is Rob Pine's tune, we can do a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, heel, stamp, 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 which rounds out the phrase. 1, 2, 1. Actually, I don't know what it is till I play the music. Okay. Does that make sense? You can vary it. You can do the, I don't know what musically that would be called, but the da da da, the end of the phrase, you can do after 4 or you can do after 8. And you can play with that, but then you're actually starting to dance the tune a little more specifically. Any questions about that? Does that make sense? Or is there anything in the chat I need to know? Looks like it's all okay. Okay, so let's just do that again. Okay, now how do I get out of chat? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna close chat. Yeah, there it went. Okay, so let's just do some more of that. For just the end, the rest of that tune, and then I'll give you a break and do a little dog and pony show to give you a chance to rest. Okay. So play, find the rhythm. Okay, so just in case, I don't know all of you who are out there, you may or may not have seen me dance when I lived in Santa Fe or when I hang out with Thomas Maupin, or I do have to just because I'm so proud of it, I'm going to brag a little bit. I won at Cliff Top, not this summer, of course, but last summer. I won not only in the geezer category, first place, but I also won national championship, which is first place among all the first place winners of all the age groups. So, so that was pretty, that's like, now I can, you know, now I can die, basically. I've reached like what the height of flat footing. But just in case you haven't seen me dance, I figured I would pick my favorite tune. And what I'd like you to watch as I'm dancing is how I make the tune, how I mimic the tune out of my feet. Because that, you know, many dancers who are phenomenally incredible fine dancers are not necessarily doing that. And because I've danced alone, solo for, until I met Thomas, 20 years in New Mexico and 10 years in California. So I have to entertain myself, and because I get bored very easily with my own dancing. And so the way I started doing phrasing, and then I started, the latest thing I'm into now is trying to mimic exactly what the fiddler is doing. So I lip read, like I eyeball their bowing arm, and I try to actually get inside their fiddle with them and mimic that when it's a good fiddle player. Of course, that helps. Okay, so I'm gonna do Napster's Retreat, which is a Tom Adler written tune.
Ruth, can you make the music just a teeny bit louder? The music?
The volume is up all the way on my machine. Am I too loud? Are my feet louder than the music?
To me, they are. I can still hear the music.
My leather soles. I've got.
When I'm dancing and you're dancing, it's hard for me to hear it. But if I'm not dancing, it should be fine.
I wonder if I should put on my leather soles. Okay. Yeah, Zoom, you know, Zoom is just not ideal for this. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So everybody take a breathing break, go get some water. And so on. Yeah, I sort of get that these shoes are incredibly loud. So I'm going to do a quick change artist here. So I'm going to play another tune, and you all practice while I change my shoes, and see if you can get the phrasing however it works for you. Sweaty Horses is a good one. Oh. Oh, dang! Something's very odd with my machine because I'm meant to dance to Napster's Retreat, which has a lot of stuff to play with in it, and it came out Sweaty Horses instead. So you all get to dance. Okay, go do it. Okay. So I also wanted to throw in a waltz. We often don't think of flat footing to anything other than 4/4 fiddle tunes, but I want to show you how you can do a waltz, because that step becomes a syncopated step in the 4/4 time. So what you do, it's very simple. Flat, flat, slide, flat, flat, slide. Because it's a 3, it's always going to stay on the same foot. Right, left, slide, right, left, slide, right, left, slide. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. And then you just choose to go to the other side. So I'm going to play a very lovely David Margolin. David Margolin writes amazing tunes. They all do. I love them all. So this is Snow Day Waltz. So now you can waltz with your partner and hopefully not step on their toes. I once tried to teach Tom Adler how to waltz. And Tom is a phenomenal banjo musician. I mean, his hands are extraordinary. His attitude was just don't look down and everything will be fine. So anybody can waltz. So how are you all doing? We're coming up on close to the end of time here. Would you like to I'll play another cut and you just jam, or something else? How's it going for everybody out there?
Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
How did it, and forgive me if I missed it. I'm trying to keep all these balls in the air over here. But did you talk about how you got into this? Like, how did you get?
No, I didn't talk about that. Haven't talked at all. I just made you all dance. I got into it. Well, it goes way, way back. I grew up in New York City, and my mother always did her best to get us my sister and I out of the city for the summer, so we went to various camps. When I got too old to go to camp, I was, like 15? The Ethical Culture Society in New York City did teenage work-study programs in 3 underprivileged, in the 1960s. So there was always one on a reservation in Arizona, there was one in Puerto Rico, and there was one in Appalachia, which at that point was still pre-television, so it was still pretty authentic Appalachian culture. So the one I went to was held, it was 1967, I think, 66? No, somewhere in there. It was in Jacksonville, Kentucky. And we stayed in a junior college, and we had lectures in the morning on the evils of strip mining and various things like that. And then in the afternoon, we broke up into groups and did work study out in the field. And I was paired with a girl from New Jersey named Celia. And we went into the Head Start program way up in the hollers. I mean, where everybody was interrelated. All the little kids were like cousins, or so much not much outside stock, and we were supposed to be bringing stuff into them. Well, the teachers of course took one look at us 2 white girls from the big city and went, yeah, right. So we basically hung out in these Head Starts, and then Celia played banjo, as it turned out, and I stayed friends with her over the winter after the summer program was over. And she had friends in West Virginia and on a commune. So the summer before I went away to college to study avant-garde modern dance, she and I went down and spent 2 weeks with the folks in this commune outside of Hinton, West Virginia. And one of the women in the commune was a potter, made pots and clay, plates and bowls and cups and those things. And she was exhibiting at Don West's festival in Pipestem, West Virginia. This was 1969, the summer of 1969. And it was an old time festival. Celia and I were the only 2 outsiders. Celia Wyckoff was her name. She went on to be part of bluegrass bands. And Gina's Cottrell was there still making banjos from Buick transmissions, and Frank George was there, and he wasn't married yet, and like all the real old timers. And Dave Morris and John Morris. Dave had just come back from Vietnam and was quite crazy, but danced, and that's where I saw flat footing for the first time. And I'm a New York City ballet professionally trained through my childhood and through my life. And I saw this stuff and it got my guts and it never let go. So I always had this very, very schizophrenic life where I had my old time community and people and did this form of dancing. And then I had my very New York City, Balanchine ballet kid postmodern dance scene. I was part of the beginnings of Soho and all of that stuff. And, you know, never the twain shall meet. Each of those worlds didn't want to know anything about the other. And up until recently, and now it's starting to become a little bit more cohesive in my life.
Right on. There's one question came up in the chat, Ruth. We're almost out of time, but we got time for this. Someone commented on the nice sound of your shoes, and what kind of shoes do you use?
The last of the old lady shoes, the nun shoes, they don't make them anymore. You can't find them anywhere. These are 20 years old, and I have taps on, men's taps that I put on them. And what I most of the time, because I couldn't replace those, I'm still on a hunt for good shoes. If I could wear men's shoes, you know, thrift stores, I'd find shoes. These are basic jazz shoes that I took the taps off, and I took them to a shoemaker and had a half sole and a heel put on with men's leather. Women's leather is softer. Men's leather is much tougher and harder. So if you do this, ask for men, you know, the shoemaker asks for men's leather. And so this is what I dance in most of the time. But they don't have the heft. This has a really heavy weight, and it helps me get that downbeat feel. These, you know, they're jazz shoes. I took the taps off, but you can get the hardest jazz shoes you can find with the hardest sole, and put soles on them. Unfortunately, I don't fit some of the hard-soled shoes that are online. I've bought them and returned them. The Jason Smiths or something like that. There are all kinds of shoes online that you can try, but it's a dilemma. But, you know, in Tennessee, you know, these little kids are, I mean, people are out there in flip-flops. They're dancing barefoot on the sidewalk. You know, God forbid, my feet would be sandpaper by the end of that. But you don't really need special shoes. I just have these shoes so that I can hear sound feedback.
But ideally something like smooth, right? So that like a regular dance shoe so you can slide.
Yeah. And a chunky heel, not a narrow heel. You don't want your weight thrust forward because the heel, you know, like Capizio character shoes with the narrow heel don't work. You want big chunky heels.
Well, right on. Well, we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you all very much for
everybody. Big round of applause for Ruth. Thank you so much, Ruth. This has been excellent.